You know your project better than I do. As a project manager, you should be the most aware, most in the detail, most engaged with the stakeholders. As a PMO or an assurance partner or an auditor, I'd always be a few steps further back than you. And unless I'm actually assigned 100% to your project, I'll always feel like I'm on the outside looking in, and that's fine. But from my perspective, I can't always look at your risk register and judge the impact and likelihood with the same confidence as you. So I will, by default, take a more pessimistic view. To me, it doesn't matter if you say something is 90% likely or 10% likely. All I'm interested in is seeing what you are doing to turn the dial, to turn that 90% into 20%, that 10% into 1% or less. For that, I'll go to your risk response and your risk mitigation plan. Immediately, I'm looking for anything that doesn't make sense. Have you said you're going to accept the risk, but your actions look like you're attempting to reduce it? Have you said that you'll avoid a risk, but your actions appear to just be referring to monitoring it? I'm not doing this to catch you out for shoddy documentation, and I'm not trying to find a gotcha moment. I'm fully aware that the risk response can evolve over time, that the situation can improve or worsen. What I'm verifying then is that you're adapting too. I can't read your mind though, and if I ask you to tell me, there's a chance you'll just tell me what you think I'll want to know in order to move on. So I have to read the risk register and treat what I see there as fact. If the register is inconsistent, then you're probably inconsistent too. So here's the first tip. When the risk changes over time for the better or worse, don't just update one field in the risk register, but look at everything else related to that risk. What else has changed? The impact, the likelihood, the overall strategy for managing the risk? Next, I'm looking into the risk mitigation plan itself. I hate reading mitigation plans that consist of "we will monitor this" or "we will discuss this in regular meetings." It comes across as either passive or as though you don't really know what to do to manage the risk. I would much rather see a statement like, "Speak to head of department to identify steps to manage this risk. Action plan to be updated on this date." It's a meeting, but it's a meeting with a purpose and it has an output. That gives me some confidence. So here's the second tip. Where possible, make every action in your mitigation plan have a provable output. I don't care if you're having meetings and are really busy. I care about the output of your efforts and if that output can in some measurable way reduce your risk's likelihood or impact. Remember, it's called a risk mitigation plan, so show us how the risk is being mitigated, not how busy you are. Where you can, demonstrate that the impact or the likelihood are reducing or will be reduced. Next, I'll look at the risk mitigation plan and judge whether it looks like a plan. Does each activity have a named owner? Does it have a target date? If these things are missing, I'll question whether they're owned and whether they can be tracked. And if they can't be tracked, are we really sure that they're going to get done? So there's your next tip. For every activity in your risk mitigation plan, have an owner and a target date. Hey, I hope you're writing this down. This is useful stuff and it doesn't come cheap. Well, okay, it may cost a beer or so, but for you, just pressing the like button will do. If that's all in place, there's still one area where project managers often slip up. It's the equivalent of running a marathon and collapsing right before the finish line. Here's the tip. Check your risk target closure date. If it's in the past, or if your mitigation plan has actions that take place after it, I'll spot it and you'll feel foolish for having me call it out. There you go, that's fair warning. One last tip, and it's for those of you who've got a lot of frustration building up right now. Some of you are thinking these risks are already managed, or I don't need to go to the disproportionate level of detail you're asking for, or I'm too busy on everything else right now to do anything about this. That's fine. The tip is this. Be ready to defend that position. This isn't suggesting you're going to be attacked for that position, but there is a difference in my opinion from a project manager who's made a conscious decision to adopt an approach to one who's just sleepwalked into it and then can't justify it. It's okay if we disagree. As I said at the start of this video, nobody knows your project like you do. If we disagree on the way you're managing it, but you have a rational explanation for your approach, I may disagree, but at least I'll know that you're in this position through intent. Eventually you will get some level of scrutiny from somewhere, not likely to be from me, but some PMO, some auditor, some stakeholder or some boss will look at these records. Be ready to explain your choice in approaching it in the way you have, and try to consider it through the dark, pessimistic perception of your influential PMO. If this all goes wrong, if this project fails, if this contributes to a disaster, can I defend it? And just a reminder, saying you were too busy will never be a satisfactory answer. I hope this was useful. Make sure to hit the like button if it was. I'm going to get back to work and start squeezing the joy and hope out of my colleagues, and I'll be back to ruin your day tomorrow.